Alright, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Hegshot. Thank you for joining us for concealed carry mistakes that we have made. Today we're going to let it all hang out there and tell you where we have screwed up in hopes that maybe you can say, hey, I'm not going to do that, and help you in your concealed carry journey. If you're not subscribed to the channel, which a ton of you guys that watch every single month are not, hit that little red button down below, hit your notification bell, subscribe, and also thank you to our patrons of the channel and your support. And also, man, let me know after the video any concealed carry mistakes that you've made. No judgment here. We're just literally saying, hey, these are the mistakes we've made. Whatever, it is what it is. We all make mistakes, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so thank you so much. The first link in the description. Please, if you are interested in hanging out with me 3 or 4 times a week, plus listening to the music that I'm doing as well, hit that button down below. Subscribe to my other channel. Doing a ton of work over there. I'd love to have every single one of y'all come join me over on that channel. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about today is not carrying with a round in the chamber. How scary of an idea is this, like, when you first start doing it?
Big time. Exactly. It's very, very, very scary.
Yeah.
You think you're going to accidentally fire the gun, which you're not, but that's what you think. Or that you're going to do something stupid and slip up.
Yeah, it's going to, like, automatically just go off in your pants, and you're going to be... You know, you're going to be that person that you're like, oh my God, I just shot my freaking leg in Walmart, or I just, you know, shot off something worse in Walmart. Like, it is, yeah, pretty terrifying when you first do it and you first think about it, and you're like, how is this even possible? And then somebody, actually, the one thing that stuck out to me is somebody was like, well, cops do it every single day, and they don't shoot themselves. Well, most of them don't shoot themselves. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then you kind of understand how the gun works. These are things that just come with time, and you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of good.
Yeah.
And then when you add on top of that, the time where a self-defense situation happens is like seconds and really close, and you're like, dude, I don't know if I could rack the slide, deal with a malfunction, possibly, and all of this stuff, because your malfunctions typically are going to happen when you first rack that first round.
Yeah.
You're going to be nervous. You're going to be, you know what I mean? So, like, it all made sense at that point. It's just a comfort thing. It's just literally doing it, getting into a routine with it, and just being safe. You know what I mean? Like, just keeping your finger off the trigger, and you know it's not going to fire unless it's a SIG P320 that's dropped at the right angle on its back. But, you know, that was just one of those things, I guess, you know. But yeah, it's just one of those things you have to get comfortable with, and trust me, it's you have to be safe.
Yeah.
But it's also it's there. If it's in a holster, which we're going to talk about, if it's in a holster, you really, man, it's really nothing to worry about with that.
Exactly.
Second thing we're going to talk about, no particular order on these either. We're just kind of throwing them all out there, seeing whatever sticks on your side, and just, you know, the mistakes we've made. This one is dressing around your gun. Mrs Hegshot knows this very well. Her first gun being the SR9C. How did that work out for you?
Not too good.
Yeah.
Not too good.
Yeah.
Guns that I was going for when I first started carrying were guns that were more the size range for Heg. So for me, it was very uncomfortable. So I tried to change my clothing to more baggier clothes, and then it never worked out because the gun was too big to begin with. And
it's silly because you're trying to do basically the opposite. You're trying to change your look for you know, a 1 pound piece of metal and plastic in your pants, and at that point it doesn't work out too well. That SR9, I can remember her walking around with that thing, and it was like, I was like, yeah, it looks good. And it was like bulging out from the side, and, like, you know, her clothes are tighter fitting, and I was like, yeah, okay, all right, we got to change something up. And I think it's when we got the shield that it was like, okay, this makes a huge difference as far as just, like, because you look at the dimensions and you're like, that's not that big of a difference. You know, SR9C, it's a compact, which I fell into that as well. It's a small full-size gun. It really is. Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention, too, that gun had a ton of safeties, and that's something you thought you had to have, was a ton of safety, because you're like, it has to have all these safeties, otherwise, again, I'm going to shoot myself in the leg. So, without a round in the chamber, too. It's so stupid when you think about it, but that's how, you know, it's like,
You're nervous.
You're terrified of it almost,
Yeah.
to an extent, until you get the idea. So the SR9C probably has more safeties than all the teams in the NFL. Literally, this thing has a ton of safeties, and we weren't carrying with around in the chamber.
Yeah.
That's a silly mistake.
Yeah.
But it's a mistake nonetheless. Don't dress around your gun, man. Get a gun that's going to fit who you are, what you wear. You don't have to go up a pant size or 2 pant sizes. Unless you gain weight, you really don't have to do that. Not around a gun, man. Just pick something that's going to be more suited to how you dress. Plus, you don't have to carry inside the waistband. You can carry outside the waistband. Now in South Carolina, we can, especially with training. I think it's the open carry with training law. You can actually do that. Outside the waistband doesn't necessarily mean open carry. It just means you have to wear a shirt that will be able to cover that up, if you live in a concealed carry state anyway. So outside the waistband doesn't necessarily mean open carry. That's something that I hadn't grasped for the longest time, but it doesn't have to be like that. Also, shoulder holsters and bra holsters, and the list goes on. There's so many ways you can carry. You don't have to change your clothes and freaking start rocking Jinkos or something like that to be able to carry. Leads us to the next thing, which is going to be gun belt and holster. I've mentioned this probably 1,000 times now, but it's super important. If you're new to this, you're going to want to write this down. Good gun belt, good holster, especially if you're doing inside the waistband or outside the waistband. These things can add up quickly. They're super expensive. And if you want to stay away from that, get something that's going to be from a reputable company. We use Holster and Core Essentials for our gun belts and our holsters. Have for a long time. We'll continue to do so. I've also used Urban Carry. They have a couple different types now. They have the lock leather, which I think is actually a really awesome holster. And also the one that everybody hated, which was the G3. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people hated it. But it's also good for situations. Doesn't replace my main holster. I said that, but it actually does work out for a couple of different situations, especially for smaller guns. So there are different things that you can do. There's different types of holsters. Personally, holster, the reason I always gravitate to them, because it's secure. It's also small. The profile is tiny. So it doesn't take your small gun and turn it into some huge deal. It keeps that profile small, and that's what I really like. So if that interests you, I have videos and I have links down below. You can check that stuff out with discount codes associated with them. So there you go. That's what we like to use as far as that. Also, awareness. And this, I think, is mainly a cell phone problem, dude. I'm going to say it right now. And being aware of your surroundings. I've fallen into it. I know she has. I know probably everybody has. But awareness is key whenever you're concealed carrying. And I can't tell you how many times, admittedly, I've been in a restaurant or I've been at a store and caught myself on my phone thinking, dude, if something were to happen right now, I wouldn't have any clue what was going on. And that's bad, because you literally got the gun to save your life, but just because you have it doesn't mean it's going to. You have to be aware of what's going on. So cell phones, man, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, don't use your cell phone when you carry, or don't look at Facebook when you carry, or whatever kind of social media you look at, or whatever you look at. All I would say is try to be more aware of what's going on, man, especially when you're out and about. It's just something you have to think about. Also, where you sit in a restaurant. So some people may say, "Oh, this is batshit crazy." Like, you're thinking way overboard, dude. But think about where you sit in a restaurant. Is your back to the door if somebody walks in with a gun? Are you able to have a clear line of sight? These things happen and they happen quick. So awareness is one of those things. I've caught myself doing it as well. I'm not sitting here saying I'm totally aware and my head is on a swivel everywhere I go. What I am saying is be aware of your awareness. Also, when you start carrying, don't think that everybody is all of a sudden their eyes are magnetized just to you. They could really care less about you and what you are doing, much less, is that guy carrying a gun? I'm pretty sure I saw him carrying a gun.
That. I was so bad about that.
I think we all kind of are. It's like this new thing, it's really, there's a cool factor to it, which I still believe that. And there's also a cool factor like, dude, I'm not a victim, I mean, that's just a cool thing. And also knowing that most people don't do that. most people don't carry, so then all of a sudden you think all these eyes are like drawn right to you, much less you to your freaking waistband. Like, nobody cares. So just don't think that people are all of a sudden just looking at you. Now, if you're fiddling around with it and you're like oh man, does this thing feel okay? Like, you know, oh geez, is my magazine, you know, I mean, if you start doing that, then yeah, you're going to draw attention to yourself. So I would definitely not do that. You know, probably best advice there. Another one I'm going to mention, I made a video very early on talking about concealed carry insurance. I made the point that stand your ground laws and castle doctrines will fully protect you and you don't need concealed carry insurance. But back then, I was a moron. So I had read through some of the comments when I put that video out. I remember it clear as day. And I was like, let me look into this. And I had seen civil cases where people were taken to court, I mean, $50,000 out of their pocket to be, and I was like, dude, I ain't got 50 grand. Who, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I changed my mind on concealed carry insurance. And we've been with the USCCA for a very long time now. And that is something, regardless of whatever company you go with, make sure you look at that, man. Protect yourself. For the amount of money we're talking about, it's super cheap. At least through the USCCA, it's cheap. Look at that. Find a plan that works for you. I will leave a link down below to that as well. You've seen the little thing that played in the beginning. That is something you definitely want to look at. Super important. Just protect yourself. It comes with a ton of great benefits. It's not just about the insurance. They actually give you classes and stuff about awareness and just all kinds of things, man. A lot of useful resources, including the added benefit of self-defense liability insurance. So that's something you definitely want to check out.
A lot of people don't think about that when they first start to go concealed carry. You just think, oh, I'm so excited to try this. I'm going to feel so cool. This is going to be great. You don't think about the process you would have to go through if you have to use it. It's a very long process.
Right. And I mean, mentally taxing as well, I can imagine. Having to shoot somebody, even, you know, I mean, if they were breaking in and they were trying to harm you or your family, you know, to me, that kind of is asking for it at that point.
Right.
But I can still imagine it probably takes a pretty big toll on your psyche. So it's like, you know, the last thing you want to worry about now is how much money is it going to take to not only defend my right, but to keep my right to then carry a gun from then on out. Some people have given up their rights, from what I understand, have given up their rights to be able to keep themselves out of jail but can never own a gun again. That's terrible. Especially if they were obviously they were in the right. So that's just kind of a bad thing.
It's terrible.
One more thing we'll add here, and we'll just kind of throw these things together, is concealed carry obviously is most effective when the gun is on you. So kind of getting used to it, maybe leaving it in your purse or leaving it in your car, forgetting the gun in your car. Yep, I'm looking at you.
Terrible about it.
Yeah, because a bag can be taken from you super quick, and then you're defenseless. So those kinds of things, you know, obviously leaving a gun in your car, that's a terrible idea.
And also leaving your concealed weapon, you know, at home, not carrying it every day and making it a habit.
Yeah, if it's at home, then it really does you no good. I've literally done my list in the morning, like gun, shit, and ran back inside in the house and get it, because that would be the day that I would need it. Just my luck, you know what I mean? So sometimes you just make yourself a checklist, gun, phone, whatever that list may look like for you. So there you go, man. There's some of the concealed carry mistakes we have made. Can't wait to see some of the things that y'all leave down in the comments section below. Again, if you found this video useful, if you liked it in any way, please make sure you subscribe down below. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.